Yo-ho, meat pipers, yo-ho, and welcome back to Salt and Vinegar Sale, and we are in the Two Bones Tavern. This is a follow-up pairing video to GLP's Old London Meridian. Now, while I didn't have a whole lot to say about this particular tobacco, it did put me in a very specific frame of mind, and that frame of mind was all orange. I just wanted orange. It has this rich orange Virginia blended with a red Virginia, and then the kind of star of the shows really are the Orientals and Latakia. All of it blends really, really well into just this beautiful melange, if you will, of flavors, and it just tastes like orange. It makes me think of orange. It has orange Virginia, and everything brought me to orange. Of course, there are no shortage of orange cocktails in the world or orange beverages in the world. It's fairly ubiquitous, of course, flavor. But the one type of orange that I got the most, and it was just something about the way that the Virginias, the sweetiness and the citrusiness of the Virginias blended with the perfumey, botanical, incensey flavors of the Orientals that were in the tobacco that brought me to bergamot. I talked a little bit about what bergamot is, the history of bergamot, and how it at least became popularized in the West. But there are really a ton of bergamot-flavored cocktail mixers in the world. The primary one that you're going to find is Italicus. This is a fairly new beverage in the scene. I think it first appeared in the U.S. in maybe 2016 or something like that. But its primary ingredient is bergamot, with the addition of just orange, and I think chamomile and lavender, and maybe some other flavors in there. I'm trying to think of the other one there's one other in there that is mostly just it's an herb. I found it! Okay, so the prime ingredients in this, I got there eventually. The primary ingredients for Italicus are bitter orange peel, bergamot, orange, chamomile, oh no, I've already forgot the other one. Lavender and gentian. Yeah, so gentian is a flower. My wife is a huge gardener. We have a beautiful garden in the back. Last year I didn't get great pictures of it to show everybody because it was the fall and we had a big storm that knocked it all over. Yeah, gentian. So gentian is a flower. I think it's a really bright purple flower typically, or naturally it is anyway, but really common ingredient in a lot of cocktail mixers. It's very medicinal. I think if you've ever tasted Moxie soda, I'm pretty sure gentian is the primary ingredient in that. And you can find it, you can find gentian oil yourself. I think sometimes the root is used as well as the flowers. But anyway, so what this has is a nice floral flavor with the addition of orange. So what do you use this for? Well, really there aren't a ton of cocktails out there that call for it. And since it's so young, there aren't really a ton of, out there classic cocktails that use this ingredient. I found a few, but in my own research and my own tasting of this, you can tell I killed half the bottle, even though I had this for a long time. It's primarily a orange liqueur. So I think you could use this almost in any way that you would use triple sec or dry curacao or something of that nature. And if you think about it that way, it really, I think, blew my mind that you could use this in anything. This would make a kick-ass margarita. This would make an awesome Mai Tai. A fun sort of Mediterranean herbal floral and a slightly more bitter, but still sweet. This is really sweet. Twist to anything that uses triple sec or Cointreau or Grand Marnier or dry curacao or something like that. In that, I tried a ton of different recipes. I tried Mai Tai, honestly. Mai Tai is my favorite drink in the world. I'll find a way to work that in here someday. But I tried a ton of stuff, and really, I just kept making it more and more simple. The simpler, more and more simple I could get it, the more I liked it. So I have prepared for you today, two versions of one drink. So the primary drink I rested on is called a Negroni Bianco. So the Negroni is a classic cocktail that's been around forever. The primary ingredients are gin, Campari, and you can use dry vermouth for a dry Negroni, but sweet vermouth or rouge. So what is it? What does it taste like? Campari's primary ingredients are bitter orange. It's this really, really bitter orange, medicinal flavored cocktail ingredient or mixer or liqueur. You can see it, it's in this bright red bottle. I love it. It's one of my favorite things in the world. I mix it with everything. I had a colleague of mine once tell me she loved Campari and Negronis because it tastes like sucking on an old penny. And I'll never get that out of my brain. I think that's sort of true. If you've ever tasted that copper metallic, old grimy, salty, dirty penny, that's sort of what it tastes like. But in the best way, you know, it is pretty sweet. But it also has gin in it, and it also has vermouth. So this is going to be a play on that, in that we're going to replace the Campari with a sweeter, more floral, more herby, herbaceous, but still slightly bitter orange liqueur, being the Italicus. This is going to be the main player. And we're going to use gin. So gin, standard for a Negroni. There are tons of gins in the world. It's probably one of the fastest growing spirit types. Every time I go to the Packy, there's just a whole row, and there's new ones every time I go. But I settled on Ford's. You know, I do have many gins back here. I settled on Ford's. The reason I settled on Ford's is, for one thing, it's just awesome. It's really good. It's nice and dry. It's nice and clean. You cannot taste the spirit. All you get is the herbs and the botanicals. Also because it's very citrus forward. So it is juniper. There's definitely juniper in there, but it's a nice, clean, dry, citrus forward gin. I think it's grapefruit, lemon, peel, and bitter orange. So I thought this was the perfect pairing for this, and really you can't go wrong with this. I also tried this with Roku gin, and I actually quite liked it. I thought it was really good. It's just a little sweeter, and I felt like the yuzu citrus kind of competed a little bit with this. It's fantastic. So if you want to try other gins, definitely try other gins. You cannot go wrong with Ford's. I think Tanqueray would probably be a good pick too. Anything that's clean and dry. Then the next ingredient to replace our sweet vermouth is, I'm using Lillet. You could probably use other, like Cookie Americano would be probably honestly better than this. But why this? It is a fortified wine, and it is Blanc in this case, so it's going to be a little drier than like your Dolan Rouge sort of thing, but mainly because I want the quinine in this. I first tested this drink with, and you will see later, tonic water instead of soda water, and I honestly think that that's the main ingredient. That's what you want. This is a brand new bottle, so I'm opening this up for you all after my testing. So yeah, I think these three flavors, big bitter, big sweet, big bitter, big sweet, big bitter, big sweet. All of them super floral, super herby. I think they're going to be this big herby sweet bomb. And then I'll show you an alternative to it. The alternative being just a highball. We're going to omit the Lillet, and we're going to add tonic water to add our sweetness and that quinine flavor. If you don't like the quinine flavor, I know a lot of people don't like gin and tonics. What I would recommend doing is use club soda instead of the tonic water, and add a little bit of grape juice, like a 1/4 ounce to a 1/2 ounce of grape juice. Grapefruit juice, not grape juice, do not use grape juice. Grapefruit juice, and maybe garnish it with a grapefruit peel or something like that. Alright, let's get down to making these. The beauty of a Negroni is it is also one of those formula drinks where you have your spirit, then you have your modifier, which is usually like the Campari, and then you have your vermouth, your base, your something to give it creamy, something to give it sweetness, and really just enhance the other flavors. So you could switch this up with just about anything, really, as long as it kind of fits those criteria. But it's always a 1-to-1-to-1 ratio, which makes it really easy 3-ounce drink, or you could lower that down to 3 1/4 ounce, or you could bump it up to 1.5 ounces if you wanted a big drink. So let's get into it. We're going to start with our Lillet. A warning about Lillet: it is a fortified wine, so it's fairly low proof compared to your other spirits. Once you open this bottle, keep it chilled. It should last for a month or two. Theoretically, it would last forever, but you're going to lose like 90% of the flavor, and you might get some flavors you don't want in there. But yeah, so if you open this, plan to use it. That's why I was safe. I was hoping I was going to have enough of my other bottle to last, but I didn't. So I got to crack a new one. Let's do 1 ounce. This drink is stirred as well. We have no citrus additive here, so we're not going to add any citrus. And we're going to stir instead of shake. I know some of you watch all these, probably disappointed you're not going to hear me do the shaky, shaky, shake. I'm just kidding. Nobody really likes that, I don't think. I like it. Boom. Love it. Stir. I'm no bartender. I'm no expert in any of this. All I know, use a lot more ice than you think you need. Gets it colder faster and waters it down less, actually, I think. 20 seconds, usually all you need. You can tell, you notice I keep my fingers on it because I can tell when it's getting cold. Most of you already know this. There's 1,000 YouTube channels you can watch to get this better than me. Alright. I use a julep spoon. There's a lot of contention about whether you put it in upside down or right side up. I always just do right side up. And I serve these in a rocks glass. No rocks though. Now, you might be wondering what you're garnishing this with. I say you gotta go with the cocktail olive. I just think that extra briny saltiness is just gonna add an extra layer of flavor in there for this particular beverage. So let's give that a sip. Smell it first. Oh, you get that, you get that lillet first and foremost, and then that bright citrus. That might be my new favorite. So creamy. Ooh, and you can really get the salt from the olive too. Ooh, wow. Yeah, that's really cool. All right, yeah, this might be a new favorite. Oh, that bitter orange coming in there. Such a long finish on this too. And surprisingly, you know, if you're not a gin fan, with the 1:1:1 ratio, I think everything melds really, really well in there. It's not, you know, a lot of people try something like a martini or they try a Negroni and the gin is just, you know, too much for people who don't like gin. I think if you're a person who doesn't like gin and wants to try gin in a classic cocktail, this is good. So super sweet and refreshing, so creamy, and really complex. Surprisingly complex. Okay, let's move on to our alternative. Alright, so for our next version of this, we are going to go with tonic water instead of the lillet. The reason being is the tonic water is already going to have some sweetness in it. They're almost always sweetened with sugar or some other sweetener, and it's going to have the quinine in it. So you're going to get the, you know, primary flavor ingredient from the lillet. Let's get going. I changed the ratios up in this a little bit. I've tried different, but I found that here adding too much of the Italicus makes it a little sweet for my palate. I like it a little drier, so I changed the ratio. Instead of 1:1, and then in this case 4, I did 1.5 to half. It's going to be plenty of flavor. You're not going to need much more. So let's go ahead and do that. Start with our 1.5 ounces of gin. Feel free to use less. We are building this straight in the glass. Just a 1/2 ounce of Italicus for me. And then 4 ounces, just, you know, you can measure it out if you want, but really, I would say, as long as you got enough ice in there, well, that's probably about 4. Fill it in, grab yourself a straw, and stir. Now, I have this orange out here. I didn't see anything necessarily about garnishing something like this. It's just a highball essentially, but you know, nothing beats just this little orange peel. Cut that, you know, do the little spritz thing, get the oil in there pretty good. I love watching it hit the water. And then I just drop it in. Stir that up. Let's get a little taste. Oh man, that's so good. You know, for all of these pairing videos, I have no idea if I would really want to drink this while smoking this. I don't drink while I smoke usually. These pairings are more conceptual. I think, in theory, that Negroni Bianco would be fine on a day outside, you know, on the porch under an umbrella or something. Just chilling with a pipe and sipping on that would be pretty great. This, you don't need this. This is awesome. This is really good. I would encourage anybody to try this, especially, you know, again, if you don't like the gin and tonics, this is so much more than a gin and tonic. With just that little bit of that Italicus in there, really makes it a lot sweeter, first of all, and kind of smooths out the rough edges that some gins can provide. So yeah, that's what I think. That's baller right there. Alright, so this has been a pairing for GOP's Meridian. Big, lush, smoky, orange, citrus flavors coming from this Meridian, mixed with two cocktails that I think are inspired by bergamot and orange flavors from this Meridian. Yeah, so give these a shot. Smooth sailing, and we'll catch you next time.